Hope Posmituck, and this is Mr. Bryan Kelly from Common Ground Montgomery, and this is another episode of Montgomery Focus. I'd like to start off asking you, tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do at Common Ground.
Yeah, well, it's good to be here, Hope.
Thank you.
I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, so I'm not from the area.
Mm-hmm.
Actually graduated from Troy University, went and played a little baseball there, and was there. But we relocated, my family, my wife and two children at the time, relocated to Montgomery to start Common Ground Montgomery about 10 and a half years ago. So we've been here 10 and a half years and enjoying the city and trying to figure out how we can be a part of the city growing to be, I think, more what I understand to be the way God would have a city look in terms of the way people function together, but also to see people connect with one another that in many ways wouldn't do that outside of some opportunity to do so.
What made you want to start Common Ground?
Yeah, so a couple things growing up were instrumental in the decision. One was at 16 years old, I was charged as an adult for drug trafficking. I'd grown up around kids that live in the type of neighborhoods that I get to serve and live in now. I had grown up playing baseball and football with a lot of the same kids, and single parent, kids living in impoverished households, kids living in kind of destructive communities with gang violence and things like that. And so my own participation in some of that and getting a second chance and kind of getting to rethink my life in a new trajectory and direction played a part in that. But second, I actually came to know the Lord in college through a college ministry, and my faith really played a different role, and my life kind of took a different direction after that. And so you take me kind of rethinking my life based on what I think the call of God is on my life and how I'm supposed to live, and then you take a past that intersected with a lot of kids that kind of get destroyed on the streets, and those came together for us to want to be a part of a work like Common Ground.
Oh, so can you tell me a little bit about what Common Ground does during like a normal day?
Yeah, so well, we're a neighborhood redevelopment not-for-profit, and so our work is really based on seeing a community thrive. So you take a neighborhood that has very distinct boundaries on the west side of the city, the Washington Park neighborhood. We knew two things when we came: that we would move in and be a part of the neighborhood and be neighbors, raise our children in the neighborhood, and two, we would focus on work through the not-for-profit that would see long-term change in the neighborhood and raise up leaders for the community. And so the focus was really, how do you see a community that in many ways is distressed and dealing with the effects of poverty, the effects of a lot of structural injustice in the community, but also a lot of gang violence and things like that. And what can you do for all of us to participate in something that would make a long-term change in that neighborhood? So we led with kind of relational sports. I coached baseball and football at Carver for a couple of years. We kind of transitioned that. A young couple joined us within 6 months, a guy named Kevin King and Nicole King, and we both bought homes in the neighborhood once we determined which community we would serve in. That's been almost 10 years ago now, and decided we would start focusing on youth development, working with kids. And so we, kind of to get to your question, we started after-school programs and summer camps and different levels of mentoring to try to figure out how to get kids off the streets and kind of in a safe haven environment where caring adults could invest in them in various ways. So a typical day is picking about 140 kids up from school and bringing them to our building, and different levels of academics and electives and kind of personal connection with adults through various means to try to know the kids and help them become who I think they were made to be.
Yeah, I have a lot of sorority sisters that go out there to volunteer throughout the school year, so that's fun.
That's great.
Are there any roadblocks or obstacles that you faced while starting up Common Ground?
Yeah, in the startup phase, sure. We were trying to do something that was new for us. We hadn't seen many models of people that were moving kind of directly in the neighborhood. That's one of the things that I think is unique, a little unique about what we do, is that we chose to live in a neighborhood that most people are trying to get away from. And so selecting a house, gutting it, renovating it, and moving in, the obstacle was that we were at first the only white family in the community. And so, moving in, you have some The best case scenario is people are very suspect. What of us? We're suspect, I should say. What do you think? Why are they here? What's he doing? Does he think he's here to fix everything? Is he a policeman? What is this guy? And so it took some years to build healthy relationships and to build some trust and credibility. And then the other side, of course, starting a not-for-profit is how do you pay for that, right? And so the funding was a roadblock. It was very challenging on the front end to go and, especially for someone that's not from the city, to go and start talking to different individuals and people and churches and try to raise some funds to do the work that we're doing. And so while there were roadblocks, they were very faith building for me to watch how each one of them we were able to get over them, if you will. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, I know you mentioned like the mentoring, and I saw that on the website whenever I was looking on Common Ground's website. Can you talk a little bit more about the mentoring?
Yeah, so we do a couple different types of mentoring. One would be trying to place multiple relationships in kids' lives, especially kids that don't have active fathers in their lives. And so there are kind of group mentoring things we do in the afternoon. We'll bring in all kind of people, and we try to have them spend consistent time with the kids. So a teacher in our program would have the same 10 kids. They would be with them every afternoon for an hour. And so the child has that stability of a teacher focusing on academics and kind of mentoring in that way. We then bring in staff members who, we get to have the kids in our homes. We get to do small group studies and kind of apprenticeship type opportunities with kids, kind of take them with us as we do various things in our life that would let them look at what it looks like to have two parents in the home, what it looks like to live out our daily lives the way we think God's called us to do. But the most extreme, and I say extreme because it's kind of wild commitment, is we're trying to pair up kids in the community with, in our neighborhood, with one-on-one relationships with adults from around the city. And that's a 4th grade through 12th grade. That's the intention. I mean, we ask people to start mentoring a kid with the potential that you could mentor them all the way through high school graduation.
Wow.
And that's new for us. We kind of started and stopped that in different ways before, but we're full speed again. And kind of heading up to about 50 mentors now of kids that are connected with adults, and our goal is to see 120 kids over the next year and a half or so with one-on-one mentors.
So I've looked at like boys and girls clubs, and I don't know if that's like necessarily the same thing. Can you like talk about how y'all are different from that?
Yeah, so Boys and Girls Club is wonderful. We've got one. We used to have one in the neighborhood. It's closed down at this point, but there's one not too far away down. A couple neighborhoods over. So a lot of our kids play sports at the Boys and Girls Club. I think it's an excellent organization. What we tried to do is focus on a neighborhood. So a lot of the kids in our community wouldn't necessarily have transportation or access to the Boys and Girls Club, even as comparatively close as it is. Ours is a walk-up opportunity. It's really focused on a community. And the other thing we're trying to do is walk kids from now pre-K, 4 years old. We have a pre-K on our site now, all the way past high school graduation and into adulthood, and try to follow and be with those kids all the way through. So our program is trying to set up a structure of support wrapped around kids in our community that maybe is a little more aggressive than the after school type and sports type things that the Boys and Girls Club are doing. So what we try to do is partner with them because they do things well that we don't do. But we're trying to walk with kids in a particular community. We've got about 1,800 kids accessible in our community, so there's plenty of kids to work with. Even if we're up to 150 on site, there's a lot of work to be done in our neighborhood.
I didn't realize there were so many kids, like 140 or 50. What different events do you hold at Common Ground?
Yes. So we have the after-school program, which is every day, Monday through Friday. We do a Christmas store, which is coming up soon, where we take in donated new toys, and we set up a store in the neighborhood where parents in the community can come buy toys at a reduced rate for their family. And so it takes out the giveaway aspect. We're really trying to preserve and acknowledge the dignity and the ability to contribute. And so it helps families who are in need by a reduced rate, but it gives them a chance to contribute. What we've also found about it is they participate. They come and work at the store. They bring other families to it. They're a part of the whole process, which is really beautiful to me. So anyway, we have the store. We have a pre-K program now that's an all-day. For us it's new, but it's an education emphasis on, the year before kids go to kindergarten. And so that's brand new for us. We have a new facility that we're doing that with. We do the mentoring, one-on-one mentoring with kids, and then we started another organization that buys some of the old rundown homes in the neighborhood called House to House Community Development. And the kind of, we're an umbrella for that organization. That organization works with the parents of the kids that we're working with, trying to provide affordable and I think healthy housing in the neighborhood. And so that's something that we're doing. And then I think that the biggest thing is we try to connect, well, you asked about events, but we try to connect ongoing relationships with adults that are coming. And so they use these events to know folks in our neighborhood and begin relationships, that kind of affect the whole city, affect the way people think about life and what our city is and some of the things our families are facing.
I didn't realize that not just the kids, but like y'all bring in the adults too, like getting everyone involved. That's really neat. Yep. What are different ways that you can get, or a better question, how do you feel that Montgomery is helping, or Common Ground is helping Montgomery, the city?
So I think we're an opportunity for people to connect. So we get to walk with kids that are going to be future, leaders in the city. That's something I'm very excited about. But second, we get to have people living on all different parts of the city and where their churches and their jobs and their neighborhoods may not intersect with other people in the city. We provide a safe place for people to come together and ask real honest questions, about race, about religion, about life, about economics, about government. When you get people in a relationship that aren't normally together, it tends to change the thinking of everybody involved. If it's done in a humble way, if it's done in I think in a way that shows dignity kind of across the lines. Well, I think that's something we do that's special, that you really get to connect people, and when they engage in conversations and relationships, it challenges the way we think about life, especially across racial lines. It's something that I'm very proud of, and I think that's a big effect that we have on the city, and we give people an opportunity to live outside themselves and outside of some of their normal day-to-day functions and begin to think about how their life can be used for good in an act of service, and I think that's one thing we get to do.
Oh, wow. Do you think that you're going to expand Common Ground, like to different cities? Or?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. We're literally right now, talking through what that could look like to partner with another organization that potentially could help us expand this kind of work all over the country. And so, that is something we're very interested in and talking about the potential of right now.
If there was one thing you could change about Common Ground, what would it be?
I would change a lot of the early mistakes that I made in trying to figure out how to bring people together. Sometimes you force things. You make organizational decisions that aren't the most healthy. You hire people sometimes that may not be the best ready to work with children. Not from a danger standpoint, but from a maturity standpoint. I think that my desire is to find the right kind of people to come together to do the most good in the lives of children and adults in the neighborhood. And so I think that for me, there's a lot of learning curves that come with bringing different kinds of people together. But that being said, I'm kind of grateful that I got to go through some of that, and learn it. I think that I would focus more, if I had to do it over again, less on some of the programs on the front end and more on creating the space for people to know one another. So in some of the early programs that we started, it helped us get kids off the street, but maybe it wasn't the most effective for letting them know and be impacted by other people's lives and vice versa. And I think that's something we're doing a better job of now. So people over programs is what I would say that I would want to continue to get better at.
What do you find as the most rewarding part of Common Ground?
Yeah, to me the most rewarding part is getting to be impacted by my neighbors, getting to be challenged in again, bias. I think that none of us want to admit it, but just growing up the way any of us have grown up, there's a lot of us and them kind of bias, right? And especially when you look like me and you have a lot of opportunity and access in life that many of my neighbors never got, you just kind of assume that in the early part that you were very responsible for the things that you have in life. And while that's partially true, there's a lot of foundation and a lot of networking and access that I took for granted until I began to get to know my neighbors that didn't have access to those things. And so I'm so grateful because they helped me see life differently, not just help me see what's not and what's not right and what's not fair, but they help me see a lot of things that are very beautiful about life from their own experience and perspective, and they've included me in on that. They've included my family by living in the neighborhood and on the types of relationships that do that. And so my kids get to grow up with, you know, African American grandmothers. They get to grow up with people that really love and accept and respect them, and they get to see life differently by interacting with people that are struggling with things, poverty and other things that many of us, because of how we live in an isolated and insulated life, we don't get to experience. And there's actually some real beauty that comes with that.
Mm-hmm. So you would consider everyone there family?
I would. Well, it's probably like anywhere. I mean, no one considers everybody everywhere family, right? But I'd say, yeah, in the neighborhood, there's some really wonderful families that they are family to us now, and they have treated us with such love and dignity and respect, especially when things like, you know, houses get broken into or tragedy happens in the neighborhood or really difficult things happen. To watch neighbors kind of walk with you in community is really nice. So yeah, absolutely.
So where do you see Common Ground in like 5 or 10 years?
Yeah. So I think what I do see is the potential of impacting other neighborhoods in the city. That's something we're looking at as well. But even if we didn't spread out into other locations, what I see kids from our community and adults taking more and more creative leadership to see the neighborhood change, to see the neighborhood economically change. So I see businesses starting from kind of entrepreneurial efforts of people in our neighborhood. I see families that are continuing to take more and more leadership to mentor people in our neighborhood from our neighborhood. That's something I see. And then I see a lot of churches and businesses in our community partnering with creative leadership from our neighborhood to impact even the way they think about how they're going about their missions and their businesses. But also I do see a potential expansion into other cities, which is what you asked about earlier. But yeah, those are all things I really think are going to happen for us as folks grow up and take leadership. So yes.
Well, hopefully those things will start happening really soon.
Yeah, exactly.
So have any of the students or like the kids that have gone through Common Ground, like the program, do they ever come back to like help mentor or work with?
Yeah, so we had two phases, the way I would describe it, of our work. We had the early years at Carver High School, and so I started with 16, 17, 18-year-olds for a couple years. Then we backed down after about 2 years to 5th grade age. Well, what's interesting is a lot of those 5th graders have now graduated. So they're ones that, I think that they're starting to come back and take leadership. I think those are the kids we're now targeting to come back even this summer and be a part of and lead our summer internship with college students. So this will be the first year that we get more than a couple potentially kids that grew up in the neighborhood that are part of a summer college internship team that leads our summer camps. So that's new and that's fun, and I think that's part of the leadership development you're talking about. But we're also not just seeing kids come back, we're seeing folks that grew up around the neighborhood and see what we're doing and they want to be a part of it, and that's real exciting to me too. So that's happening. What
are different ways that y'all get the name around, or Common Ground's name around the city out?
Yeah, so we have had great participation from some of the local TV and newspaper and radio. We've been approached by different types of media that way. But I think that our most effective avenues have been word of mouth. They've been mentors, board members, volunteers, other church leaders, other business leaders that have come out and participated at any level. They seem to be the ones that are getting the word out. They seem to be the ones that are helping us in many ways. And that kind of snowballs into some of the other opportunities to talk about our work with the media. And so we've had the Montgomery Advertiser's done a great work. They've done great work for us for a while, but even recently a 7-day focus on our work, and that really did generate a lot of attention. And then both Channel 12 and 8 have come out. I mean, it's been really amazing to see people come out and help any way that they can.
Do you ever go to the schools and like talk to children at different like schools around Montgomery?
So because our focus is on a particular neighborhood, we really focus on the schools that serve the kids that come from this neighborhood. So yes, we have staff that go up to Carver High School, that go up to South Lawn and E.D. Nixon and T.S. Morris and Bellingrath, and get to interact with students there. But most of them, again, are from our neighborhood. I've gotten to go up with this new community schools initiative. I've gotten to go up and speak at E.D. Nixon with the focus there with the community schools. And so we have gotten to do that a little bit, and it's been good.
What do you think the kids enjoy most about Common Ground?
I think it's the consistency of getting to be there and know that it's going to be safe. And they're growing up in a community where there's a lot of shooting, there's a lot of violence, and so you know every day that we're going to pick you up from school and you're going to get to come and be a part of something that is safe for you. That not only are the kids safe there, but they are loved on, and they know that it's a place of love, it's a place of investment, and so they get caring adults that will consistently and daily treat them with dignity. And I think that's something that can't be taken for granted. I think that's the secret sauce, if you will. That's the stuff that matters the most, is not the programs as much, but the people. And so kids get an environment of dignity and respect and love, and that matters a lot for them.
You said it was a Christian-based organization?
It is, yeah. Our motive and our mission is based on people being treated the way God has created them to be, and to become what God has destined, designed them to be. And so so for me, that is a gospel focus. It is something that I think really honors Jesus. I think he really cares about neighborhoods, not just people's spiritual connection to God, but really the structures around them and the environment they live in should represent the way that God intends and the way he treats us. And so we've tried to set up an organization that represents Jesus that way. Yeah.
Interesting. And now we'll go to a clip from the on-site visit that I had with you.
So this is our living room. This is where we do everything from feed snacks to the kids and do dinners and meals and kind of community fellowship in here. But we also do a cooking class in the kitchen right off this room. And this is kind of gathering social space when it's not programmatic. So we love our living room. We modeled it kind of like a coffee shop. And this is a great space for us. So this is our one of our classrooms. We do gardening in here. So we have eggs and seeds and all kind of things going on. We got some little quails that'll be hatching soon, and the kids are doing kind of indoor gardening right here for now as part of our electives and after school program. All right, so this is our gym. We do a lot of things here as part of the after school program. When the kids are not doing the academics, which the first hour of every day is academics in the classrooms and other space that we visited earlier. When they're not doing academics, they're doing electives. And so one of the elective parts of the second hour is in this gym. And so they can do everything from dance to sports to different, team activities, things like that. So this gym is used for that. The after school program as a whole is centered on trying to wrap as many developmental programs and caring, loving adults in the lives of the kids as we can, or wrap them around the kids. And so if we can create a safe space to get the kids off the streets and with us in the afternoons and bring as many caring, positive adults into their lives through the academics, through the programs, through the different electives, then we feel like we're winning. We're doing the thing that makes a big difference in the lives of the kids. And then around that, we try to match the kids with mentors that walk them from fourth grade all the way through high school. And then different other kind of mentors that will help them in different areas of their lives. And by creating that safety net, our programming and our mission is fulfilled in the lives of these kids. And so this is one of the spaces we get to do it, and we feel like it's a real privilege to do this and to be here in the lives of the children.
Okay. Mr. Bryan, is there anything else you'd like to add about Common Ground?
Yeah, we really need help. We need people to come be a part of what we're doing. And so anybody that's interested in learning more about mentoring or ways that they can get their group or their family or individually get involved in what we're doing, I'd love for them to contact us. There's so many ways and levels that people can help us that continue to carry out our mission of seeing our neighborhood transformed in a way that transforms the entire city. They can contact us going to our website, which is cgm.life. And you can really find out everything from the website. You can contact us there, and would love to have people come by and see what we're doing. I think the thing that we offer is that it changes everybody involved. So it's not just about giving, it's about receiving.
Well, thank you again for coming to meet with me and talk to me about Calmer Girl Montgomery.
Well, I've enjoyed it.
This is Mr. Bryan, and I'm Hope Posmituck, and this is another episode of Montgomery Focus.